What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? Look, before we get going, before we get talking about anything, hey, I just want to give a special shout out to all the fathers, all the father figures, even if you're a stepfather, even if you're not a biological father, you kind of filling in the role, a mentor, your father figure, anything of those along those lines of a positive male role model in young people's lives, in your significant other lives, your niece, your nephews, whoever it may be, and you have some kind of influence to them. I want to give a shout out to you guys because I know the difficulties that it brings, that it comes along with. Um, at times, you're asked to be everything for everyone, and it gets tough. So again, as we take our our time and congratulate fathers or give them a pat on the back, just again really understand like, hey, okay, how important your father is to you, or that positive real male role model. Because again, we've seen what it looks like not having that positive male influence in your life. And even if you become an old man and you become a grandfather or whatever it may be, those lingering effects could still be there. So as we go through about our day, I know most of our days are getting ready to wind down, but just make sure we really understand, like, hey, okay, look, everybody's father is not there, whether it be before birth, after birth, or whether it be like they're still living, whether they're not here no more, whatever it may be. Just cherish the moments you can have with your fathers or your father figures or whoever they may be. All right. So enough of the celebratory stuff. But again, just make sure you take advantage of what you have in your life. And today we got a good show for you guys. We're gonna go over some stuff. We're gonna talk about OTAs. Again, before we get going, if you guys can't see my slides or if you can't hear me or whatever it may be, please feel free to let me know. Hey, coach, I cannot hear you, or I can't see your slides, or whatever it may be, and I will try and adjust those slides to make sure we are good to go. So first and foremost, I want to thank you guys for all the support that you've given me up until this point. We're slowly moving along. I'm not a big, huge content creator or whatever it may be. I kind of flow back and forth between some stuff on some other people, podcasts or their YouTube channels. And I'm trying to grow mine a little bit. And all the support that I've gotten up to this point, don't think it goes unnoticed. I really appreciate all you guys for what you do, whether it be if you subscribe to the channel, you make comments on the channel, or whatever it is you're doing to support me. I really, really appreciate it. And if you come on here and you're able to see me, or you want to talk, or you got questions, feel free to drop your comment or let me know, hey, where you checking in from. I know it's Father's Day. Some people probably are trying to enjoy their fathers and whatnot. And I just felt like, hey, I still got to be consistent and come on here and do what I got to do when it comes down to pushing out the videos that I have for you guys. All right. So today we have some topics, and some of the topics will be about OTAs, who stood out in OTAs this particular week. I know the Ravens canceled the OTAs on Thursday or whatnot. Some people thought it was something significant behind it. I just felt like, hey, Harbaugh and company probably was like, all right, look, we're good to where we need to be. We're fine. We got some stuff accomplished. We installed some stuff, and I felt like, hey, okay, that happens. That does happen, and to me, that shows that, hey, okay, you have a positive control over your group of guys, what you want to see out of the offense, out of the defense, out of the special teams, and yeah, we're probably not achieving every goal right now to this point, but I will tell you, he has to have said, you know what, I'm happy with where we are right now, and this right here goes along with what he said. I want to say it was a month ago. I want to say he said if we had to play a game right now, we're ready to play a game right now, and that speaks volumes to the Baltimore Ravens organization in their preparation towards the season and getting the young guys up to speed and whatnot. Now, I'm not sitting there saying, hey, the Ravens are ready to go win a Super Bowl right now. What I am sitting saying is based off what Harbaugh and company have decided by ending the practice. That just again that lets me know, hey, these guys are really humming along when it comes down to what they're supposed to be doing as a football team and trying to get ready for their season. So that I'm happy to see that. That lets me know, like, hey, all right, the Ravens are not BSing. They're really coming out trying to do their business, and they really want to go capture the Lombardi or get as close to it as they can get. So all right. So first things first, who stood out on OTA? So again, we got plenty of people that we can nominate, if you will, or hey, this is the top 10 for people to stand out or whatever. And I'll give my little spiel of why I think each particular guy is key to what the Ravens can do or what the Ravens can become in this season. And the reason why I say this is because if these guys here aren't particular all playmakers, if you will, but if these guys can come in and contribute, some of them are playmakers, but if some of these guys come in and give us something a little bit more than what we're expecting, now we're talking, hey, the Ravens could really, really turn into something really special late January, even early February when it comes down to the playoffs. So first one up, DeAndre Hopkins. I talked about DeAndre Hopkins probably 2 videos now about his importance in the receiver room. And the reason why I say his importance in the receiver room, because a lot of people are obviously forgetting that we have him on the roster. And some people, saying, oh man, if it was 5 years ago, it'd be great. For me, still having him on the team and he's able to go and do what he's able to do, I feel like this is just going to take the Ravens to the next level. And what I mean by it's going to take them to the next level, the Ravens already in the red zone last year, I think they was at 74% conversion rate for touchdowns. So if they get into the red zone, now we're talking the Ravens scoring the touchdown. If the Ravens keep up those type of numbers, it don't have to be the full 74 or 76%. It can be just 70%. If the Ravens can get 70% touchdown rate in the red zone, that's huge because now we're talking, hey, it's almost automatic. But now you add a player like DeAndre Hopkins, now that spreads the defense out even more. And I think, again, we don't have to say, okay, look, all right, we only have one or two ways that we can really hurt you down here in the red zone. Where if you had a receiver like a DeAndre Hopkins, he can make the catches in traffic. He can make the balls that are thrown away from his body. You don't have to pinpoint it right in there. You just throw it to an area and he can go get it. Now, how often is he going to be able to do that? That's the question. Is he going to be available for the whole season? That's the other thing that I know most Raven fans are second guessing is that, hey, how often is this guy going to be available to us, and for how many times per game? How many times per game? Because again, if we say, hey, we're going to give D Hop 4 to 5 targets a game, it's 4 to 5 targets. One of them will be a shot play, and the other one will be, hey, when we get to the 40-yard and going in, can we give him another opportunity that way? Or, hey, look, all 5 targets could be in or around the red zone. I don't know. Have no idea what Todd Monken wants to do, but I do know the fact that he has that type of player in his arsenal, in his packages. I just believe he's gonna try and exploit him as much as he can to the defense. Next one is two defensive guys, particularly pass rushers, Adisa Isaac and Adafe Owe. These two guys, I think, really, really hold the key of what the Ravens can possibly do, right? And the reason why I say that is because, if Owe struggles, you know, are we going to ask Mike Green to do too much too soon? Because again, he's a rookie, and I don't want to put an immense amount of pressure on the guy already. And I'm not sitting here saying there will be. What I am sitting here saying is that, hey, you kind of make it easier if I don't have to, hey, look, man, Mike Green, we need you to go get us 10 sacks this year. I'm not sitting there saying he can't do it. I am sitting there saying is that hey, we had a luxury to where the sacks are kind of spread around. Now teams got to prepare for the entire Ravens pass rush versus one or two guys, if that makes sense to you guys. And I just believe a player like Adafe Owe being in the contract year, I believe that he answers that call. The question is he going to be able to pull one of the other guys along with them? And he's not on here. I didn't put him on here, but these Isaac is up here on the top. But can we pull along um, uh, Jesus, man, I'm having a brain fart with it. But can we pull along Ojabo, David Ojabo? Can we pull Ojabo out of what he's been in right now? And can he get to be consistent? If Ojabo can get 5 to 8 sacks, these are Isaac can get 4 to 7 sacks. Those type of things makes it easier for this particular defensive line unit, this pass rush unit. And I can tell you right now, if we do that, you got a coach like Chuck Smith is going to love everything about this particular defense. And now when we have this going into the early part of the playoffs, now we're sitting and saying, hey, this particular defense can go out and win us a game. Because I did a video, I want to say 2 weeks ago, probably 3 weeks ago. The Ravens have had turnover issues in the playoffs, whether it was giving the ball away or taking the ball away. We got to get more takeaways and not giveaways. Because if we get giveaways, okay, giveaways happen, right? But we need to be able to win the turnover battle. Because if we win the turnover battle in the playoffs, it's been proven that you make the game that much easier for the offense. And as you can make the game easier for the offense in the playoffs, now we're talking, hey, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and company don't have to be Hercules on offense or Superman on offense. They can kind of, hey, look, let's casually take the game as it comes to us, and we don't have to press that much because again, we got the ball 3 or 4 times because the defense has taken it away at a higher clip than what they normally do in the regular season. And I just felt like once we're able to get back to that, now we're talking the offense and the defense firing on all cylinders, and then we could really, really make a run. Because there have been times where the offense was up here performing, and the defense was kind of just, whatever y'all give us, we'll take that. Or hey, we're giving up 500 yards of offense, whether it be 350 in the air and 100 something on the ground, or whatever it may be. And I know I'm just talking, but that's what we've been seeing. We've been seeing that, and it's just like as a Raven fan, it got to be frustrating. I know it's been frustrating to me to see that hey, we have these great defensive players. Some of them have been playing out of their mind, and we haven't been able to capitalize at in the biggest moments when it comes down to in the playoffs, in the AFC Championship or divisional round. And it just seems like hey, our defense has been kind of lackluster at times. And again, same thing with the offense. If the offense can create more and more ways of how to score or not depending on certain players. I just think you catch people off guard. Case in point, the Justice Hill Charger games. Uh, that was a game that Justin Hill really showed people like, hey, look, I can be a good complement to what you guys already have. I just need the opportunities. And I just feel like with this next guy that's in this picture, Keaton Mitchell, if he has a bounce back, if he has a bounce back year, like we're thinking, the 600 yards, 6 touchdowns, or some of that nature, if he has that type of year, now we're talking again. A lot of pressure being taken off of Derrick Henry. A lot of pressure being taken off Justice Hill. A lot of pressure being taken off Lamar Jackson. And yeah, it's going to possibly eat into Derrick Henry's overall numbers because we want him to get those 2,000 yards. I want my man to start his acting career so he can set up for football once he set up for life after football. But I understand if he doesn't get those 2,000 yards and we go win the Super Bowl, hey, look, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Or if we got to sacrifice a few hundred yards to get deep a deep run in the playoffs, I'm okay with that as well. Okay, I just want the Ravens to finally be able to get over the hump and win this Lombardi. Okay, win this Lombardi. The the defensive leader, Roquan Smith, I love it that he was there every day for OTAs. That's huge. Here's the reason why it's huge because you're bringing in some young guys that we're sitting there saying, hey, we're going to rely on y'all. We're going to rely on y'all. And what better way to have one of your defensive signal callers there to basically say, okay, look, this is how we're going to call things. This is how we're going to check into certain things, so forth and so on. Hey, this is about your effort. This is about your attitude. And I just love that having that leadership that's there on the defensive side to basically say, hey, look, this is how we're going to do things moving forward. And as long as he was able to register, like, hey, this is how we're going to do business, I'm okay. I'm okay with him being there every day of the week or every day of OTAs. And I just hope it translates to the field when it comes down to the productivity of the defensive unit. I hope we don't have to wait to week 8 or 10 or somewhere along that line to see the defense kind of shape shift into what they're going to become. So kudos to Roquan Smith being there. The other guy, I'm happy. I'm happy to see, or the other two guys that I'm happy to see here. He's the young secondary guys, Malachi Starks and then Nate Wiggins. These guys they're gonna have a lot of pressure put on them this year. And the reason I say it's gonna be a lot of pressure put on them this year because if the Ravens really have rectified their pass rush issues or quote unquote built a better pass rush system than what they had or players. They got better players for their pass rushing abilities and whatnot. I just feel like this is going to set up the secondary for a lot of picks or a lot of interceptions or a lot of pass or throwaway or bad passes or whatever it may be. Whatever it is, I just hope these two guys in particular are honed in and they continue to progress or elevate themselves because now we're talking, hey, it can be a pick six, just like we see with the Browns in the Browns game with Nate Wiggins. If you can create that pressure to get a quick throw and these guys are in position, that bodes well for these particular secondary players. Because now we're talking the time to throw is condensed down. The quarterback doesn't have time to kind of dissect what the defense is doing because they're getting pressure on the quarterback to make a move off the spot or not stare down a receiver. And I just feel like if the Ravens can do that, along with what we have in the secondary, again, I think we can get anywhere in between those 17 to 31 turnovers that we've had in the past 2 seasons. Again, I say the sweet spot will be 25 turnovers for this season. If we can get upwards of that 25 or past that 25, I'm okay with that too. I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, it won't help. I believe it will help. Then the last guy on here is Tez Walker. A lot of people again was writing this kid off. He came in and he flashed. That he flashed some of his abilities in the Giants game. I just feel like the Ravens need to continue to give him some more, especially what he's been doing in OTAs, making some acrobatic catches, showing some poise, running routes properly and whatnot. I just felt like, hey, you brought this guy here for that particular reason to give you something that you didn't already have. And I just felt like, hey, this year he could really, really utilize what his opportunities are in the offense and take advantage of them completely. Now, am I sitting there saying he's going to get 100 targets? No. What I am sitting there saying is if they're going to give him 60 targets, he catches 45 of those. I'm okay with that. And whatever yards and touchdown he end up with those things. And the reason why I'm saying that is he get a dose like that. Again, it's just going to help the offense thrive because now when I sit here and say, hey, look, I'm spreading the ball around as a quarterback and I still have this running threat of Derrick Henry and myself, I just felt like it's harder to prepare for you when you have multiple options on the offensive side of the ball. And I think just spreading the ball around is good for the young receivers' confident, but then it's also good because now when we go into the plan for these things, I got to be able to take away wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4. Because why? The Ravens are actually giving them touches. Same thing with the running back room. I got to be able to prepare for when Derrick Henry goes out the game. I got these two speedy running backs that can also catch the ball out of the backfield. Not saying Henry can't, But now we're talking, hey, that's a whole nother dynamic. That's a whole nother monster to this Ravens offense. Because now we're talking, hey, I RPO you, Derrick Henry not in the game. If you don't pay attention to it, I can throw a wheel route up the field to one of my faster running backs or quicker running backs. So now we're talking those guys get a step on you. We know, hey, those guys are gonna bump their head on the goalpost. They're gonna hit their head on the goalpost because we know what Keith Mitchell and Justice Hill are if they get up the sideline on you and you have nobody that can catch it. So, but yeah, OTAs is wrapped up. And I think everything's going well so far. We had some small minor injuries, some ankle injuries or whatnot, but we did have some young guys that also stepped up, particularly the two safeties, or the safety and the cornerback. I'm sorry, Cone and Sanasu Kane. Um, he stepped up, had a good acrobatic interception. Cone, I'm sorry, is going to give you some good depth. Now, I don't know if he's going to make the roster, but I would love to see if he's not the odd man out because, again, looking at his tape looks good. His tape looked good, and I just felt like, hey, okay, look, if we don't keep all the cornerbacks that we have right now, and we let one of our veterans go or one of our depth pieces go, I would love if Cone could stay on the roster and develop into something that would be good for the Ravens later on. Because again, at the end of the day, there's a couple of positions you can never have enough. And I just felt like cornerback, you can never have enough because you don't know when somebody's going to go down, whether it be a soft tissue issue, a little nagging issue, whether it be an ankle here or a knee there, a hamstring here, a hamstring there. Now we got people on the roster already. That means, hey, we have some people that's already involved in the system, so we don't have to kind of teach it to somebody late in the season or whatever it may be. And I just feel like if you have enough cornerbacks or more than enough cornerbacks on the roster, again, I don't have to come in and reinvent the wheel when it comes down to bringing somebody off the street and putting them into our system. All right. So let me check, make sure I don't have no comments. Okay, no comments. All right, cool. All right, so we know if you haven't been a Ravens fan for long, but if you've been a fan since 2023 up until now, we've seen the Ravens get the top seed. We've seen the Ravens come from having to play in the wild card, having to play in the divisional round. We've seen that. This particular year, I'm not sitting there saying the Ravens have to get the number one seed. But I am sitting here saying that, hey, if they do get the one seed, that'll give them a bye because, again, our bye week is pretty early. Bye week is week 7 this year. And as you can see on this particular chart, the last Super Bowl winners from 2004 till now, these are the different bye weeks that they've had. You've seen somebody have the bye week as early as week 3, and you also seen somebody have the bye week as late as week 13. So again, there's no definitive, hey, okay, but if you have an early bye week, you're not going to win the Super Bowl or you're not going to have a good run in the playoffs or whatever. None of that really is going to say, hey, okay, look, you're definitely going to win the Super Bowl because you had a late bye. What I'm sitting here saying is, hey, I would like to have the bye or the top seed for that bye, and here's the reason why is because that is a grind. That is a grind of what we're going to be doing. And that grind, and I think this grind is not as bad as it was, I want to say 2023, when we had the games on Christmas against the 49ers, and we had to play that gauntlet. Not as bad as that, but there are some divisional games out there that we play. And we played the Packers in that last seven, those last 7 games, having to play the Bengals and the Steelers, and then along with the Packers, and I think the Patriots as well. Having to play them, I just felt like they're so different of the types of teams, and I just feel like, hey, coming off of that would be great to have some kind of bye, even if it's not, even if you're not going to sit here and play all of your particular starters in Week 18. But you can kind of, hey, give some of those guys that you're going to rely on in the playoffs a chance to play a full game if you don't give them the reps throughout the season. And then so now when we do play again, we can just say, okay, look, we got some of the rust, we got some of the butterflies out of guys' stomachs or throat, and then now they can go in and say, hey, look, we played a game, a full game. We know what it's like, yada yada yada. And I hope that's not the case. But if it is the case, we have a game to where we know, hey, okay, look, we don't have to go until next week knowing that this particular person didn't perform well when we was asking them to perform well at a week 18 or whatnot. But as you guys see on this particular slide, you see some teams that had some uh, late buys. They weren't the number one seed. I mean, they had some late bye weeks, and they didn't end up with the number one seed. We see some people have the late buys, and they did end up with the number one seed. Since people had some early buys and still ended up with the number one seed. And again, I just felt like that happens when you have a team to where you can rely on multiple people throughout your offense. You rely on multiple people throughout your defense. Most of these teams, as you see, their rosters, nobody had one or two people that they just say, hey, look, we're going to force feed the ball 150 times to this guy on offense, or we're going to rely on this person to go get 25 sacks to carry us defensively. And I felt like they either had a great defense or where they were complementary to the offense, or they had a dynamic offense or a dynamic defense, and then their offense or their defense rose to the occasion to help them throughout the playoffs. Because as you can see, these teams, the Giants, even the Giants didn't have a crappy roster. The Giants had a pretty complete team when it comes down to it. It's just that their defense started playing lights out throughout the playoffs. You know, when their defense started playing lights out throughout the playoffs, that means, hey, Eli Manning didn't have to go get 5 touchdowns every round. He didn't have to do that. So if he can go get 2 passing touchdowns and don't throw any interceptions. That complements their defense, especially if you knew they were going to give you a turnover or 2. So I just felt like, again, as you're looking at these particular teams, the difference was they were more complementary to one another versus fixating on when they got the bye or if they got the first top seed or whatnot. Because again, top seed is cool, but the top seed doesn't always win the Super Bowl. The early bye is cool. Early bye doesn't always mean you're going to get to the Super Bowl. Same thing with the late bye. Does not mean you're going to get to the Super Bowl because you had a later bye and whatnot. So I do believe if the Ravens get to the AFC Championship, I believe it's going to be different. I think I have to believe that it's going to be different now because if that happens, I think they could have a home field advantage, and if they could have home field advantage in the AFC Championship, I just don't see the Ravens crapping the bed again against whoever it may be in the playoffs because I just feel like this team is set up to really do something good. If again, obviously, health is going to be the kicker, and then what are we doing with that health? Are we utilizing allowing the young players to come in and have their say or contribute on offense or defense and let them play. Let them play freely. What I mean by let them play freely, hey, don't give a guy one target in 6 games and you've been giving him 50% of the snaps. Don't let a guy come in for one third down series and we know for sure we've had some games intact and already won. Let the young people go out there and spread their wings to get them more comfortable to where now, hey, I'm hella confident come playoff time. And if you need me to go out and have a game, I can do that. But when you don't give them an opportunity, that's where the issues come because now we're talking, hey, we got the Anthony Millers of the world running around in the playoffs trying to go catch passes for us, and they're not comfortable with that. And make no mistake, he is still a professional. But I'm sitting there telling you, it's so hard to come in with in-game confidence and you never get in the game. It's so hard to ask a player to say, hey, on and off switch immediately, come in and go give me 115 yards receiving with 2 touchdowns. That's so hard to ask any player to do it, let alone a young receiver or inexperienced receiver in this situation. So I just feel like, hey, give them a good shot of whatever it is we're asking them to do. Give them more than one or two chances to do so in multiple weeks. If we got the opportunity to do so, let's do it. And to be honest with you, some of the guys that we're asking to do something, I don't even care if the game is won. Hey, man, it's a third down. We may be down by 4 points. I need you to go in here and rush the quarterback. Can you go do that? Yes, absolutely. I don't care because you're a rookie or you're a second year player or you're a depth piece. I want to basically create that to where, like, hey, when people come in, they know, hey, look, well, I'm here and it's go time. And I don't have any kind of bugs in my stomach or in my throat. I'm ready to go, and I can come in and help contribute. Because when you have that, you have these quote unquote unsung heroes. People come out of nowhere and they kill their opportunities that they have to where it's like now it's like, dang man, we should have played this guy, 5 weeks ago. I wanted to be hard on our coaching staffs to say, okay, look, man, do I play this guy or not? Because now this guy is actually pushing for my starting job. I know every coach in America wants to have that issue, right? Because now we're sitting there saying, hey, look, our particular team can give us, or players on our team can give us multiple things from multiple players. I don't have to rely on one or two players to give me what I'm asking for, whether it be sacks, whether it be touchdowns, whether it be rushing yards, whatever it may be. I would love to have it to where, hey, I got more than enough depth, and that depth can give me almost the same thing that I'm asking collectively. Now, obviously, I know one or two depth pieces is not going to come in and replace a starter. But if they can kind of, hey, I can put two or three of y'all together and y'all can still give me what I'm looking for, that's where we're now talking about the Ravens can really turn the corner. Because I just feel there are certain players on our team in the playoffs they kind of go missing, right? Kind of go missing. And if they kind of go missing, we need to know, hey, okay, who can pick it up? Who can pick it up for this player? And we need to know, like, hey, he may not do it all by himself individually, but because of what he's doing, he's freeing up other players. So now he's freeing up other players. Now this gives us back to what we need when it comes down to QB pressure, when it comes down to run stops, when it comes down to pass defenders, pass deflected, whatnot. So I just felt like, hey, if we have that, and we create to where multiple people are giving us multiple things, and we don't have to rely on a 20 sack a season type of player. I'm okay with that. I'm cool with all of that because again, like I said, look at these particular teams. Neither one of these teams had really trash defense, and if they did have trash defense, like the coach, they played keep away. They played keep away when it came down to it, and they took advantage of the opportunity. In fact, I want to say this was the year. Yeah, this is the year where they went 15-6. I want to say it's 15-6. They beat us, and if that's the year they beat us again. Remember, they didn't score a touchdown. They kicked field goals, so they took advantage of the opportunities. And I think it was multiple fumbles that we had. They took advantage of those opportunities and went down and got points for them. The difference is that, hey, they didn't give the Ravens what the Ravens want when it comes down to big plays in the run game. So if you weren't gonna give up big plays on the run game and make you drive the field, again, we couldn't punch it in the end zone. Only thing we could do is get field goals. And again, I just don't want to have that happen because when you have that happen, if they shut down those one or two things that you do well, what is it going to look like then in the playoffs? Because you got to sit here and say, oh, I have to give these particular players opportunities to where now, if I'm called upon, they're called upon in the playoffs. This ain't the first time they're having to do so, or the second time they're having to do so. They're common, they're familiar with their particular role, and they're completely comfortable in doing so. All right, so now we're going to talk about favorites, Super Bowl favorites. Okay. All right. So according to Fox Sports Data Scribe, the Ravens have the second highest Super Bowl odds at plus 700. And the Ravens also current favorites to win the AFC North at a minus 145. So Ravens are the current favorites right now. I don't know what that looks like. I do know Aaron Rodgers got added to the Steelers. It hasn't done much when it comes down to moving, being the favorites for the AFC North. I think it's a close race between them and the Bengals for the AFC North, second in the AFC North. I believe the Ravens have been uh, the perennial favorites right now. But favorites don't mean nothing. You got to go out and play the game. Same thing with having the second highest Super Bowl odds. Odds don't mean anything if you're not going out and performing. Now, I will tell you, if the Ravens can perform the way they performed offensively last year, close to it, not sitting there saying, "Hey, we're going to get the same 4,000 yards passing, 40 touchdowns, and less than 5 interceptions." If we can get that from Lamar, that would be crazy to have a back-to-back season like that. But if you can get somewhere close to that, the 36, 35 touchdowns, six or less interceptions, I believe that's enough. That's enough. Here's the kicker. This is what's going to really matter. I need our defense to win more than enough games for us. Let's say, hey, okay, we got a 17 game season. If the defense contribute to winning four or more games in that, I believe that's the key to the Ravens really, really being the favorite or whatnot. Because as you guys seen with Philly, with Kansas City, with all the teams that go and have good particular production or in the playoffs or go to the AFC Championship consistently or to the Super Bowl, they've always had games where their defense rose up and got them over the hump. Even the Buccaneers with Tampa Bay with Tom Brady, they've had times to where Tom Brady didn't go out and throw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. The defense rose up. I just feel like if we have a couple of those particular games and we can ride the defense, even if it's not for the entire playoffs, if it's just for one or two games or one game or a couple of weeks in the season, I just feel like that's going to bode well for the Ravens and how far they can go. Because again, asking the offense go out and score 35 points every game, I just felt like that's a lot to ask, especially not being our average. If our average is 24 and we're needing 35 to win the game week in and week out, I just feel like that's a recipe for disaster as we navigate our particular season. Because there are going to be some teams that are going to have some defenses that say, hey, look, we're not going to give you 35 points. We're not going to give you 30 points. We're only going to give you 15. We're only going to give you 18. Is that 15 or 18 enough? That's where I think this particular favorites or this particular odds of Super Bowl winning really, really hones in because now we say, hey, the Ravens can do this if their defense continues to be complimentary. Because I think that is the key. And what I mean by complimentary, I'm not talking about three and out. I'm talking about I need actual turnover to give this particular offense short fields. Or we just scored, we got a defensive turnover at a really great time, and now we're turning around giving our offense another chance to punch it in there, and we can kind of close this game out before the fourth quarter hits. All right. So the Ravens schedule, the Ravens average opponent power ranking over the 17 game season is 16. They will face five of the top 10 teams uh, in this ranking. 4 games will be away: the Bills, Chiefs, Packers, and Vikings, and 1 game will be at home against the Lions. I want to say that's week 3, and when we play the Lions. So again, the Ravens kind of had the same amount. They had the same amount of wins. I think they went 6-3 on the road and 6-2 at home, or something like that. I think that's. I may have a flip flop, but I know they won 6 games away and 6 games at home last season. The Ravens, the road games have not been an issue for the Ravens. The Ravens have kind of done what they do at home, the same thing they do on the road. Now, some people say, the home field advantage is there in M&T. I think it is, but I also think, hey, if the Ravens come in and handle their business and not play down to the team they're playing, or not forget about, hey, you got to really beat me. I'm not going to make mistakes. I'm going to be dialed in when it comes down to protecting the ball, when I'm going into the end zone, covering the ball up. I'm not being lackadaisical on defense. I'm really understanding what you're trying to do to me defensively, and I'm really trying to take that away from you. if the Ravens can do those type of things, I feel like, hey, this could be another really good chance to win a Super Bowl. And I will tell you, if the Ravens win a Super Bowl this year, um, this could probably one of the sweetest ones because they won it twice already. The 2012 season, the 2000 season, and then if they win it this year, it'll be this year. I think this would be the sweetest one. Here's the reason why I think it would be the sweetest one. Um, we got guys on the team that's been here through the struggle. We got guys here on the team that has been talked down upon. You'll never get over the hump. We've got guys that came here for to win a Super Bowl because they felt like this organization was one of the teams that was Super Bowl win ready. Uh, we have people on the staff that came out of basically retirement to come back and bring back the championship winning ways. We have young guys on here that, hey, when I got drafted by the Ravens, I was thinking about a chance to go win a Super Bowl, and I just think all that comes full circle now. If they do it this year, they finally do it this year. I can tell you right now, a player that is probably solidify his legacy as a quarterback, as an athlete, not probably not just in the NFL, probably in life, man. When it comes down to kids wanting to play quarterback, I just felt like if they win it now, and Lamar Jackson gets the Super Bowl, this right here would be like, hey, you know what? It was all worth it in the end. It was all worth it in the end because right now there have been polls that came out. Lamar Jackson would probably never win a Super Bowl. People are saying yes, he'll probably never get over the hump. He'll probably never win the Super Bowl. And I just felt like to all the people that are saying those things or even putting those things in the atmosphere, all those things that kind of go away. I know they won't, but if this happens and he wins one, I felt like now it's like, hey, STFU, let's not talk about this no more. Quit talking down upon the young man. Let the young man go out and do what he needs to do. Because a lot of people think that, hey, because he's a running quarterback or a mobile quarterback, they think that there's never going to be a recipe to win in the playoffs and carry a franchise. He's already shown people that, hey, I can carry the franchise. I can run the ball if you need me to run the ball. I can become a prolific passer of the football. If you need me to go and win a game or two, I can do that. He has shown that he can do it, and we still have people talking down on him, doubting his ability, doubting what he is, and so forth and so on. And I just felt like you kind of get rid of some of those people that talk kind of sideways about Lamar Jackson and whatnot. Same thing with Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, again, is one of the premier backs that we've seen in his time. In his time, you can make an argument he's probably one of the top two running backs since he came into the league, or you can say he's the top running back. You can say he's the top five. I can tell you right now, as long as he's been in the league, you can't tell the story of the running backs without talking about Derrick Henry. You can say it's first, you can say it's second, you can say it's fifth, whatever it may be. If we're going to talk NFL or we're going to talk running back, you got to mention Derrick Henry. You have to. And no other way to kind of slice it up based on what he's able to achieve and where he went originally to achieve what he has achieved thus far. I just I just think that makes it even for me. That makes it even more. They give him more praise because he went to Tennessee. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, outside of Chris Johnson years and the man, I'm forgetting his name. But outside of AJ Brown, the AJ Brown years, having AJ Brown there with Derrick Henry, outside of those particular times, the Chris Johnsons and those guys, outside of them, Tennessee really hasn't done much or produced much when it comes down to putting their football team on the map. Yeah, you had the Steve McNair time, but you got to be an old head like me. You got to be an old head like me to really remember that when it comes down to, hey, they went out and went to the Super Bowl and they lost a really good Super Bowl, by the way. Really, it's probably still underrated to me, even though they lost. I just felt like they haven't done much when it comes down to keeping their football team competitive in at least competitive in the division and competitive in the NFL. I just felt like the Derrick Henry years kind of highlighted it to the best because even with Chris Johnson there, they didn't really go in the playoffs and go far. Even if they got into the playoffs, it's probably a first round bye. A first round, yeah, one and done, first round, and then they're out of there. That type of deal. They didn't really go in and make any real noise. With Derrick Henry, they made it to the AFC Championship. To be honest with you, they should have won it, but that's neither here nor there. So the other part to this for me is if the Ravens can really uh, those 4 games because look at those 4 games. Those are 2 playoff teams on both sides of the NFC and the AFC, and I just feel like, hey, if we can go out and win those particular games, I feel like, hey, we get a close picture or prediction of the Super Bowl, possible Super Bowl matchup with the Packers, Vikings, or even the Lions. That could be the NFC opponent that we face. So I felt like these particular games are not just throwaway games this particular year. I felt like, hey, okay, look, this schedule sets up perfect for the Ravens should they make a deep run and get to the Super Bowl this particular year. All right, let me see if we got any questions. Oh, we got some comments. All right, cool. All right, so yeah, I got some not some questions, but I got. All right, so Engraven put up here said, "Coach, what's up, Engraven? How you doing, man? Happy Father's Day to you, Engraven. By the way, hopefully Carter not getting on your nerves too much." All right, so Don C. Okay, we need to hook this stream up with them for collaboration. Build this channel up. I like this dude. Okay, cool. All right, KBZ, happy Father's Day. What's up, man? How you doing? All right, so done. Yep. All right, then engraver pops up on the screen. Go Father's Day. Yep. Yeah. Cool. Yep. So what happened and done? Okay. Yep. Cool. Yeah. And look, man, I like them being Super Bowl favorites again. But we know we got to play the games. There are going to be some times to where the Ravens may downplay against the team. Who I know we all remember 2019. There's no way that you would have told me the Cleveland Browns should beat the Baltimore Ravens. But we know for a fact that happened. Okay. Even last year, we look at the team that we had and we say, hey, look, there's no way the Browns should have beat the Ravens. But we have those type of games. And if we have those type of games, we got to turn around and we get those games back by beating the Chiefs, by beating the Bills, by beating the Packers, by beating the Vikings. The teams that quote unquote, yeah, we may beat them, but they're not definitive wins. And I hate to say definitive, but hey, we look at these certain particular teams and say, hey, these teams don't stack up well against the Ravens. And I just felt like if we lose a game like that to the Browns or to the Jets or whatever it may be, and I'm not talking down against the Browns or the Jets, but I'm saying if we lose to those teams that we're not the favorites of, now we got to go back and win the games that we supposed to lose. A game against the Chiefs, because I'll be honest with you, I think Patrick Mahomes is 5-1 against the Ravens. So right then and there, when people do their schedule predictions, people automatically saying, "Hey, Ravens gonna lose against the Chiefs." So again, what better way to set the season off right when you can turn around and win those type of games? The games that we quote unquote as fans, when we did our predictions, we said, hey, you know what? I just don't believe the Ravens can beat the Chiefs. However, if the Ravens beat the Chiefs, now we're saying, hey, you know what? Instead of that 11-6 prediction that I gave, now it's looking more like 12-5 or 13-4. And I just felt like, again, we can't play down to opponents this year. And the reason why I say we can't play down to opponents this year, because we play down to opponents, now we're starting to say, hey, look, instead of talking about winning the AFC North, man, we may be in a struggle to get in the playoffs. Because used to be magic number was 10. That's no longer the case. I think the magic number is 11 and a half to 12. That's what you need to win the AFC North, to for sure win the AFC North. Because I'm being honest with you, you got 2 other teams that can easily win 10 games. win 10 games and possibly miss the playoffs. That's the crazy part about it. So again, I just feel like the Ravens got to come out and not play down to anybody. And I feel like not playing down to anybody would be to have the complementary defense that can win you a game or two. The magic number for me was 4. The defense can come in and control 4 games and help us win 4 games. I just feel like we will be cooking with Crisco when it comes down to, hey, we got somebody that can take the ball. We got players on our team that can take the ball away or force you to make a mistake. And then now we can go double up on touchdowns if we need to. And then now the game changes or shape shifts because now we can go into our 12 and 13 personnel and just run the clock out and we can win the game ugly like that if we need to. Not saying that's going to happen every week, but I'm sitting there saying if we have that particular opportunities to do that, I just felt like, hey, you could take the pressure off Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry early on and as often as possible. I just felt like that's going to help us out in the playoffs. All right. So the last topic we're going to talk about is going to talk about some of the veteran options that are out there. Now, I got it. There's a whole slew of different people that we can bring in, like Jadeveon Clowney not on here, Zadarius Smith not on here, uh, Asante Samuel Jr. is not on here. There's a lot of different players that we can turn around and look to add and whatnot. I put these particular 3 on here because these are the 3 that's probably most talked about, whether it be Twitter, whether it be Facebook, whether it be on YouTube, whatever it may be. You always get these type of questions. Who should we bring in? Should we not bring in anybody? Should we keep what we got and have a young bull develop into some of the positions of need or whatever? And look, I'm as objective as I can possibly be when it comes down to whoever comes in. All I want, if they come in, right, I want them to be able to come in and contribute, right? Simmons, Alexander, Ramsey, does not matter to me. I understand if they brought in either one of these guys. I will tell you this, the guys that we have to trade for, not really feeling that. Here's the reason why. I think what we have right now, how we're currently constructed, helps put us in the best possible position, right? And what I mean by that, because I know Mark Andrews is a guy that people have been talking about, right? And especially if the Dolphins are in contact with the Steelers about trading Jonnu Smith to the Steelers. So if that happens, look for Miami to look to get a tight end. And I just felt like Mark Andrews could be brought up in the discussion. Now, Mark Andrews for Jalen Ramsey and some compensation, some picks or whatever it may be, or how if they do it one player for player, I don't like it. Here's why I don't like it. Remember what I said, how we're currently constructed. If we're going to add to but not take away, I'm okay with it. If we're going to add to and take away, I'm not okay with it. Okay, because people can say what they want. Mark Andrews having 11 touchdowns last year was huge. Okay, we can't look at a tight end room and the tight end rooms are collectively have 10 touchdowns, receiving touchdowns every year. Let alone between 2 players, they almost got 20 touchdowns. That's crazy. That's crazy to sit here and say out loud. I got two tight ends that give me anywhere from 15 to 20 touchdowns. That's crazy. And I just felt like, hey, unless we're prepared to give Charlie Kolar his fair share of those particular targets from Mark Andrews. And I'm not sitting here saying the Ravens won't do it, but I'm sitting there saying right now, if they trade him, or they definitively, decisively going to say, hey, look, we're going to give Kolar these extra targets to help balance out the tight end room. And I got it. A lot of people want to push Isaiah Likely into the center of the tight end room and say, hey, look, you're going to get 100 plus targets or whatnot. That's cool. What I'm sitting here saying, though, is at some point, somebody's going to try and take away your best option. And I just feel like, hey, okay, look, if we do make that particular move and acquire Ramsey via trade, and if Mark Andrews is no longer there or whatever, I think we need to basically splice it between Charlie Kolar, between Bateman, between Tez Walker, between D Hop. If we can do that, and I got it, it's going to be hard, but if we can kind of do that, I just feel like that's where we're going to really, really thrive. Now, the other part to this is Jalen Ramsey doesn't get targeted a lot like some of the other guys. So we really want that? Hey, we put a guy on the team and they're not going to target him, so he can't get the interceptions, but he's out there. And then I know for as a fan, most of the fans are going to look at it and say, "Hey, man, dude got one interception. Man, why are we trading for him? Man, he sucks." But they don't realize, hey, wait a minute, he's taking away an opportunity for somebody to take what the Ravens are quote unquote weaker at. Because again, let's be honest, the passing game is what the Ravens are weaker at. Run game is not an issue. 80 yards per game, in less than two touchdowns given up. I mean, I'm sorry, less than one touchdown, rushing touchdowns given up in a game. I, that's huge, right? But just imagine if you create a shutdown secondary as well. You create a shutdown secondary. Now we're saying, hey, look, it's even harder to score on us, especially if you can get those young pass rushers to all hit on the same type of cylinder, and everybody start firing on all cylinders. Now we're talking. That's a recipe for a Super Bowl, provided again injuries doesn't happen and everybody get ample opportunity to go out and show what they're able to do, right? So again, I'm okay with either one of them, right? I'm okay with Simmons because he knows Patrick Mahomes very well. He's had a lot of success to Patrick Mahomes, and I just felt like, hey, that addition could help us, whether it be in our Chiefs matchup or it could help us in the playoffs. Jair Alexander, I'm okay with that, but with the familiarity with Lamar Jackson, he's a zone type of player, and that's okay because again, if I'm going to play combo defense, right? If I'm playing combo defense and I play cover two on one side, I should be able to play whatever I want on the backside of it. I don't have to play man, and vice versa. I just feel like there's a opportunity to be able to utilize this type of player. So again, I could see either one of these particular players being added to the Baltimore Ravens. It's just going to matter how much it's going to cost us and what are we losing. That's what it boils down to. Same thing with Jadavian Clowney or Zadarius Smith or any other linebacker that we want to bring in. Either one of those guys, we're going to bring them in. Are we bringing them in off the street or are we going to trade for them? What are we trading? What are we losing? Because again, I see it sometimes. Sometimes you guys are crazy. You say crazy things like, hey, the Ravens give up 2 firsts to trade for Jalen Ramsey. No, it's not happening. Just stop. Just stop. Uh, to be honest with you, the Ravens are not going to give up something where they feel like, hey, it feels like it's a fleece job. The Ravens just not going to do that. They're not because before you guys seen it before the Ravens keep disgruntled players, they just flat out release them. They're just flat out releasing. But good thing about this, as we know, as far as we know, there are no disgruntled Raven players right now. If they are disgruntled, they're doing a good job of holding it in or not being on social media talking about it. And I just felt like, hey, if we don't have that on our roster, so there's not a real panic to trade somebody or to get rid of somebody. We kind of just let them walk. Hey, okay, all right, man, we're not gonna bring them back. Kind of let them walk, and then in free agency, that's more on them versus, hey, look, I'm a trader player that really don't want to be traded. And then, oh yeah, by the way, if we don't get uh, some kind of immediate gain from that, meaning that hey, we can see the fruits of our labor. Just imagine what that's going to create in the Ravens fan base. Hey man, y'all traded away this guy that had 10 plus touchdowns for this bum, and then now this bum ain't doing nothing, or this guy ain't doing nothing. Just look at all the memes that's going to be out there. It's going to be so many different memes out there. It's going to be so many people that's going to be talking, hey man, EDC is this, he's trash, man, yada yada yada. He's not Ozzie Newsome, so forth and so on. And again, nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that when it comes down to, hey, okay, look, we traded for this player, we lost something that we had that was going good, and there's other players not providing the production that we thought he was going to provide. So again, I can see it either way. I'm not against any one of the particular players. I'm against if we're going to lose something, right? And we got to be getting some significant back in return. I'm not one of those guys to say, hey, look, I just want to trade everybody because I think they're old or I think they're not going to give us what we asking. Because quote unquote, a lot of people uh, love to throw out the thing quote unquote washed, and we've been using that on social media for a while. Hey, these players are washed, and those players come in and they show you, wait a minute, we're not washed. Even Mark Andrews got it. Mark Andrews got the hey, Mark Andrews washed. And lo and behold, if you ask somebody, hey, is Mark Andrews still good? Depending on who you asking, if you just got a person that said, hey, okay, look, we just watched the last playoff game and we didn't see what he did in totality, of course some people would say yes, he's washed. He can't catch a simple route, a simple or dig route, or a simple drag route, or simple out route. He can't catch those type of passes, and they don't realize, hey, let's look at what he did. 11 touchdowns. That's crazy. That's crazy for a receiver. Let alone I got a tight end that did it. Okay, and I got it. He missed some games or whatnot. Just imagine if he played the whole entire season, and we actually really tried to go highlight him throughout the season. I just felt like some of the stuff that we were criticizing players, it's a little bit. Some of it is warranted at the particular time, but then when those times have came and gone, hey, it's kind of dead, kind of over with. So we got to sit and say to ourselves like, hey, I can't totally trash a player. I got to look at the totality, what he has brought this team over his time of being with the Baltimore Ravens. So all right, so let me check the comments again, see if I got any more comments. And then if we don't, uh, all right. So yeah, uh, EXE chip. Yep, I'm with you. When you talk about people need those particular opportunities, uh, yes, absolutely. But those clutch moments, right? Those clutch moments, I got to be able to give it to them more than just once. I'm not sitting there saying, "Hey, Mark Andrews was caught off guard" or anything of that nature. What I am sitting here saying is that, hey, give it to him again. If we get put in that situation again, he's on the roster. Hey, we can't sit here and say, "Hey, look, Mark dropped the last time. Let's not go to him this time." No, absolutely not. Like, if we call the play, he open, throw that mug to him again. Let him know, hey, look, there ain't no hard feelings. And yeah, you said Cooper Rush, ain't it? Yeah, look, I'm with it. If you saying Cooper Rush is not it, got it. Um, I would like to have the mobile quarterback. The quarterback I wanted, he's gone now. He's in I think he's in Dallas. I wanted Joe Milton coming out of college. But again, it didn't fall to us. We didn't try and go get him in free agency or whatever it may be. And that's what it is. Okay. Um, Cooper Rush, I think Cooper Rush would be okay as a backup. I just believe it changes the dynamic of the Baltimore Ravens when he comes in the game, right? And I say that is because the ad lib, the moving and be able to throw on the run, those type of things, he's not going to be able to do those things like Lamar Jackson. So I just felt like again, this particular team changes when he comes in the game. So I don't again, it was kind of a head scratcher when they picked him up as a backup. But then I also seen it's like, hey, okay, all right, man, this kind of be one of those things. Hey, look, just for this year to see where we are when it comes down to the backup. Yeah, and who's this? Yeah, champ. He failed 3 times, but again, if he's on the roster, right? Think about it. If we on the roster, we get in that situation again where we got to go for 2. How much confidence does that instill in your player when you say, "Hey, look, man, all right, man, you failed 3 times on this. We're not gonna give you the opportunity to go rectify the situation. We're not gonna give you the opportunity because that would be like, hey, okay, Lamar Jackson, you got to the playoffs 3 times. I man, we're not gonna give you a full repertoire of passing plays or running plays because in the playoffs you've shown that you can't pass it. You've shown that you can't run it in these particular plays against these particular teams. So I understand what you're saying, but if he's going to be on our roster, that means they value him, right? And if they value him, I don't want them to discredit him in certain parts of the game because of failure. Okay, because again, how do we work through our failures? I can't say, hey, I'm not going to do it because I failed. Absolutely not. I want you to give me an opportunity. In fact, hey man, look here. This is what we're going to do. Throughout the season, we're going to call one of these plays maybe once or twice. And I want you to show me that, hey, all right, man, you still don't have the jitters about yourself when it comes down to running these particular type of plays. And I feel like the more you call it, the better off he'll be when it comes down to giving him an opportunity. So, all right, and let's see what we got. Yeah, hey, KBZ, 100% agree with you. I'm talking about not even changing a word. We got to stay disciplined, stop playing to the level of our opponent. Because as you guys seen, maybe I'm a little too old school or too dug in as a coach. But to me, we took our foot off the gas with the Pittsburgh Steelers in the playoffs in the wild card round. We got up 28 or 21, I think, or 28. I think it's 21. 21. We got up 21 points, and then we started playing lackadaisical defense. Both of their touchdowns were 30-yard passes. I want to say that was just broke coverage, and we can't do that. We cannot do that. If we do that, again, the good teams will come back and beat us. I'm being honest with you. We cannot do that. We can't play down to opponents in the playoffs. In fact, our discipline got to be got to be on another level. Because if we don't get to another level, now we are opening up the room or the season up for disappointment again when we don't come out and play disciplined football and don't play down to the opponents. All right. And Coach, Sunday and Wednesday night are good source to stream because other content line have other nights, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, filled up just okay. Cool. So yeah, just message me, Don C. Whenever you guys want to do something, let me know. And then if we want to sit down and we want to talk about some of the different things. I'm okay to collab with whoever. Again, I coach football, so just let me know if you can let me know what the schedule looks like, particular times. And I'm out in Colorado too. That may be a thing that to look at as well. But I'm okay with collabing with you guys and whatnot, and go from there. All right. Someone on your show loves. Yeah. And look, yeah, we have on our From the Couch Sports as a group that I'm with on Facebook. We have a couple of Steeler fans on there. So the Steeler fans were cool with riding Mason Rudolph and not getting Aaron Rodgers. And that's okay. That's up to them. I don't feel like either one of those guys moved the needle for the Steelers. But we'll see. We'll see how it works out for them. So, all right. Let me see. Do I have any more comments that I didn't? Yeah, I'm with you. Coach getting in the early day vibes in Jacksonville beat us like a drum. Yep, absolutely. If they can get it figured out. Matter of fact, they beat Kansas City in the regular season. That'll let me know like, hey, how serious they are. All right, 100% agree, Coach. I track record. Yeah, absolutely. It seems like, man, we have the fountain of youth with some of these old guys that come here and they just perform. Matter of fact, they have career years. Case in point, Kyle Van Noy coming here and having a career year. Even Arthur Millette coming over, he didn't have like a career year, but you noticed when he went down, the defense changed when it comes down to the secondary. All right. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's how I feel too, Don. All right, I'm subscribing on 34. Okay, cool. I appreciate you. All right, so yeah, hopefully I got to everybody's questions and comments or whatnot. And then if you guys got something for me, if you got any questions or whatnot, feel free to put them down there in the comment. So then that way on social media, whenever I see them, that may be a show for what I do. I'm trying to do a show for you guys every week and trying to get away from some of the other stuff that content creators do. I do go over stuff like defense. I do go over stuff like player personnel, that type of stuff. Who knows? Probably next week I'll probably do my second part of my defensive coverages, so you guys can be abreast about some of the defensive coverages that people can call, whether it be the NFL, high school, or even college. So, all right. So if I don't have no more questions, hey, once again, thank you guys again for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys for all you have done for me up until this far. In any kind of support you want to have, whether you share it, whether you comment, whatever it may be, just let me know. Yeah, so Champ said, bring on a guest. Hold on. All right, bring on the guest appearance from one of the guys on other show. That might be fun. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. I kind of pretty much want to do just Raven stuff, but I'm not against doing any other kind of content, whether it be NFL or college or whatever it may be. I just love the game of football. So all right, cool. So once again, thank you guys for all the support and I appreciate you guys. And if you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe, share, like it. Tell me if it was good, if it was bad, if you can hear me, if you can see my slides, if you can't see my slides, tell me whatever you want to tell me. I don't have a thin skin. I'll be okay. Again, thank you guys for all the support and all the fathers out there. Keep being awesome. Keep doing what you guys are doing. It may not be noticeable right now, but I can almost assure you, as the years to come, people will appreciate you guys more. Don't stop doing it because you don't get the glory right then and there. Appreciate you guys again. Have a great night and enjoy the rest of your Father's Day. Peace.